Welcome to Hidden Finance, the channel where economics and finance reveal their most hidden secrets. Today, we'll uncover a new mystery that has shaped global markets and influenced the economy. In the world of finance, few names carry as much weight as Goldman Sachs. Its financial maneuvers influence entire nations, and the deals that pass through its doors are some of the most significant in the world. However, contrary to popular belief, the origins of Goldman Sachs are far from those of a wealthy, powerful family. Its founder, Marcus Goldman, was the son of humble cattle ranchers who emigrated to the United States with little more than the hope for a better future. From a modest office in a basement, Goldman Sachs grew to influence the entire globe. Today, we're diving deep into the life of Marcus Goldman and the founding of Goldman Sachs. Marcus Goldman was born in 1821 in Trappstadt, a small village in the Kingdom of Bavaria, now part of Germany. He came from a Jewish family of modest means. His parents, Ella Katz Oberbrunner and Wolf Goldman, were of rural origin. Interestingly, the name Wolf might seem like a sign of strength, but at that time, they were just simple cattle farmers. When Ella met Wolf Goldman, she was a widow with 5 children. Together, they had 3 more children, with Marcus being their firstborn a year after their marriage. Growing up, the Goldman family wasn't wealthy, but they weren't destitute either. Their small cattle farm provided just enough for them to survive, but it required every family member to contribute, even the youngest. Young Marcus grew up in this environment, but his path soon took a different turn when he began attending school. Marcus quickly proved to be a prodigy, excelling in all subjects, especially mathematics. By the age of 16, he was advanced to a higher class due to his exceptional abilities. Recognizing his talent, his parents sent him to a rabbinical school, not necessarily to become a rabbi, but to receive a broad education that would open more opportunities. It was during his time at the rabbinical school that Marcus met Joseph Sachs, the son of a saddle maker, who would later play a significant role in his life. While Sachs was committed to becoming a teacher, Marcus wasn't as interested in teaching. After completing his studies, he decided to use his skills to help his family's business. Despite his capabilities, his parents dreamed of a better future for him, believing he could achieve much more than farming in Trappstadt. Around this time, Bavaria was experiencing a growing anti-Semitic movement, making the future look uncertain and grim for Jewish families. Convinced by his parents to seek better prospects, Marcus decided to emigrate to the United States in 1848 at the age of 27, accompanied by his brother Simon, who would later become Simon. The Goldman brothers arrived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with just enough money to cover their basic needs, food and rent, for the first few months. Simon Goldman quickly decided to leave Philadelphia to try his luck as a gold miner in California, hoping to strike it rich quickly. Marcus, on the other hand, chose to stay in Philadelphia in search of a more stable job. It was there by chance that he reunited with his old friend, Joseph Sachs. Sachs helped Marcus integrate into the Philadelphia community, introducing him to both Jewish and non-Jewish German immigrants. Thanks to Sachs's help, Goldman found affordable housing and secured his first job as a peddler, selling mostly tobacco. He worked for German merchants who had arrived years earlier and owned a small shop. Under their employment, Marcus learned the ins and outs of business in a rapidly expanding economy, living the old American dream by gradually improving his financial situation through hard work and skill. After about a year, he managed to save enough to buy his own cart and started working as an independent peddler, selling mainly household goods. It wasn't an easy life. While business was sometimes good, there were also lean periods when he had to work more than 12 hours a day to earn enough to save. During this period, Marcus lived a Spartan lifestyle, always looking towards the future, although he didn't have a concrete plan yet. But soon, a turning point would come into his life. While working as a peddler, he met Bertha Gutmann. For Marcus and Bertha, it was love at first sight. Like Marcus, Bertha had also arrived from Germany in 1848, and the two married in the early 1850s. Bertha represented not just a turning point in Marcus's personal life, but also in his career. She had an entrepreneurial spirit that would significantly influence his future business decisions. Following their marriage, Bertha convinced Marcus to open their own store. She got the idea after seeing one of the latest sewing machines, realizing that they could use it to make clothes at a significantly lower cost than what was then standard in the market. Given the growing number of German immigrants, They decided to focus on clothing that catered to their tastes, reminiscent of the fashion popular in Germany at the time. Thus, they found a niche market left unoccupied: low-cost clothing for German immigrants. Bertha managed the production while Marcus handled sales and accounting. The idea turned out to be a winner. Their business grew steadily, becoming a well-known and respected name in Philadelphia. As their customer base expanded, they also started selling clothes made by other producers, leveraging their reputation as a guarantee of quality. This business model worked for over a decade until 1869, when Bertha had another keen insight. She noticed that their competitors in the city were also acquiring modern sewing machines, which meant their business would soon lose its primary competitive advantage, offering clothes at a lower price for the same quality. Although they had built a good reputation, competition was becoming increasingly fierce. Bertha convinced Marcus that their future lay in another city, a place undergoing explosive economic development where opportunities seemed limitless: New York City. So they sold their successful clothing business and moved to the Big Apple, where the story of Goldman Sachs would truly begin. In a small basement office in Manhattan, Marcus and Bertha launched a new venture. But this time, their plan was not to open another store. They wanted to offer services tailored to the many emerging businesses in the city, drawing on the lessons they had learned from their clothing store. Thus, Marcus Goldman and Company was born, initially a sole proprietorship. The business started with just one employee, a bookkeeper named Tim. It was a small consulting and brokerage firm, but Goldman had bigger ideas in mind. Despite their limited resources, Marcus Goldman managed to become one of the greatest innovators in financial history. He was among the first to introduce the sale of promissory notes as a means to support emerging businesses. To understand what Goldman achieved, we must first understand what a promissory note is and what it's used for. A promissory note, in simple terms, is a contract that requires the payment of a certain sum by a specified date. It's essentially an IOU, often used when a business doesn't have the liquidity to pay immediately or wants to invest its cash elsewhere first. Promissory notes are thus tools for deferring payments. They are particularly useful in contexts where many businesses are emerging and need to expand. However, these businesses often lack the cash to make necessary purchases up front. Promissory notes enable them to invest money they don't yet have, but realistically expect to earn in the future. However, there's a problem. Businesses accepting these promissory notes also need liquidity to grow. By accepting notes instead of immediate payments, they can increase their customer base, but delaying actual cash inflows can slow their development. If a business has too many receivables and not enough cash, it might even risk bankruptcy because it lacks the necessary liquidity to pay its own debts. Understanding these challenges, Goldman positioned himself as an intermediary who solved these problems by trading in promissory notes. First, Goldman would assess the balance sheets and business plans of companies wanting to defer payments, effectively acting as a guarantor of their ability to pay in the future. He would do his homework, analyze their financials, and provide an opinion on their creditworthiness. Companies that received these promissory notes could sell them to banks, albeit for less than their full value. The banks, in turn, ensured a profit by purchasing the notes at a discount, allowing them to earn a return on the future payments. This system allowed businesses to receive immediate cash without waiting for the promissory note's maturity date. For his services, Goldman took a commission, typically 10 cents on every dollar owed on the note. Goldman's method of working with both sides of the transaction had a revolutionary impact. Companies accepting promissory notes now had more reasons to do so, as they could resell the notes. At the same time, customers who used promissory notes could defer payments, with the likelihood that banks would eventually cover these obligations. This approach enabled both parties to grow much faster. Goldman's innovative strategy quickly gained traction. In its first year, between 1869 and 1870, Goldman and Company traded promissory notes worth $5 million, a sum equivalent to about $100 million today, adjusted for inflation. From these trades, Goldman earned approximately $250,000, which would be about $5 million today. These substantial earnings were primarily from the 10% commissions on these trades. As Goldman's business grew, he sought trusted partners to help him manage it, particularly as he aged. Though he invited Joseph Sachs, his old friend, to join him multiple times, Sachs preferred to continue his teaching career, feeling it was his calling. Instead, Goldman found his future partner in Samuel Sachs, Joseph's son, who, upon completing his education, joined the company in 1882. A few years later, Samuel married Goldman's youngest daughter, Louise. In 1885, he became an official partner in the business. The company name was subsequently changed to Goldman Sachs and Company, reflecting the partnership. Samuel Sachs brought fresh energy and new ideas to the firm, contributing to its rapid growth. With Samuel Sachs on board, Goldman Sachs continued to expand its operations and diversify its services. The company soon moved into foreign exchange services and other types of arbitrage, taking advantage of its growing reputation and expertise. By 1896, the firm had become a member of the New York Stock Exchange, solidifying its position as a major player in the American financial sector. But the firm's greatest innovation was yet to come. In 1906, under Samuel's leadership, Goldman Sachs pioneered a new way of valuing companies based on their potential future profits rather than just their tangible assets. This method revolutionized the way businesses were evaluated and helped set the stage for the modern financial world. Goldman Sachs's story is one of innovation, perseverance, and the transformative power of a good idea. From his humble beginnings as a peddler in Philadelphia to the head of one of the world's most influential financial institutions, Marcus Goldman's journey is a testament to the American dream. His legacy lives on in the company that still bears his name, a firm that continues to shape the world of finance just as it did over a century ago. Goldman Sachs is a prime example of how humble origins, combined with innovation, a strong work ethic, and a bit of luck, can create something extraordinary. And it all started with a man who refused to settle for mediocrity and instead chose to change the world. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next mysteries of the economic world. But what's your opinion? Share it in the comments.